Hello, it's Dr. Oubre again. In one of my previous videos, I talked about heartburn and the natural ways to improve heartburn by increasing stomach acid to aid in digestion. The idea is that if you have heartburn or reflux or stomach problems, that it actually means that you're not making enough stomach acid, especially if you're taking medications like Dexilant, Nexium, Prilosec. All those medications reduce the stomach acid, and so you're not digesting your food appropriately. So one of the things you can do to improve digestion is to take stomach acid. And so when you take stomach acid, you take it with meals. You take it right before the meal, upwards to 15 to 20 minutes after your first bite. Preferably you want it in there before the food goes in there because it can help with the digestion as the food is getting in. It can start making its process and turning the tablet into actual acid. But if you're having digestive problems, just getting it on the stomach is better than not getting it at all. It is acid though, so you don't want to wait too long after food. You don't want to take it on an empty stomach because acid has no purpose when you take it too long after a meal or when there's nothing in there. But one of the things I mentioned in the video was that if you're taking the stomach acid pills, the betaine HCl, and you can't quite get up to 1,300 milligrams, it may mean that you don't need it, but it may mean, or I should say, it more likely means that your stomach is not prepared for acid. And so one of the things you can do to prepare your stomach for acid, because you want acid in your stomach and your stomach should be able to handle the acid, one of the things you can do is you can repair the stomach lining using certain supplements and herbs and nutrients. And so the best thing that I like for stomach acid regeneration is actually licorice. Now you have to be careful with licorice because licorice has two forms, one that's called a deglycerized version and one that's just regular. Licorice affects the adrenals and the cortisol breakdown when it's not deglycerized. So if you're not having any adrenal issues, then you really want to stick to the deglycerized licorice for stomach issues. Now, I use licorice plenty of times for people with adrenal stuff, but right now we're focused on the stomach. And so when you buy a licorice supplement for what I'm referring to now, you really want to use one that's deglycerized. It's also called DGL or deglycerized licorice. So that's a powerful supplement in the world of restoring the stomach. Another one is aloe vera. And so we all know the benefits of aloe vera. We use it for sunburns and all kinds of stuff like that on the skin. And so it does the same thing as the stomach. It restores and regenerates the stomach lining. The idea is that if you can restore the stomach's ability to make mucus, then the acid shouldn't burn. And so burn the stomach, that is. If the stomach's refluxing, any amount of acid is going to burn the esophagus, the throat, because the throat is not designed for it. But the stomach, we want acid in. And so if there's acid in there, if you're putting acid in and the stomach itself is burning, and the stomach is right around your upper abdomen. Sorry, this video didn't let me point to it, but it's in the upper abdomen. And so if you're burning in that area when you take acid, then your stomach's not quite ready for it. So you can add the licorice in there, the deglycerized licorice. You can add the aloe vera, and there's other things like L-glutamine and other supplements that also benefit the stomach. I like to use the combination products so you don't have to go out and buy multiple products to help your stomach. The ones I like actually are made by Vital Nutrients. They're a powder. The two that are the best are Heartburn TX. We like to call it Heartburn Texas since we're in Texas. But it's Heartburn TX, and it's a powder, and you just take half a teaspoon and mix it in a glass of water, small, like 4 6-ounce glasses of water, and you drink it down. It's kind of got a slimy texture, and the idea is it's going down to the stomach, helping create that mucus lining, and it itself is a mucus lining. And so then, as you repair the stomach, then you'll be able to take more and more acid and digest your food. Because this is a supplement that improves the mucus lining, this is not something that you can take and expect it to work immediately. This is something that's going down to the cellular level and improving the ability of those cells to make mucus. Although it does provide a little bit of mucus lining, it can't replace the whole stomach's duty of replacing the entire mucus lining. And so this is something you would take twice a day. You would steadily regenerate the mucus tissue, and then as you regenerate the mucus tissue, you should be able to handle more and more acid. As you come off of your Nexium and Dexilant, hopefully you may not need to take stomach acid going further, but if you have reflux even while taking the Heartburn TX, then that means that you still need the stomach acid and you need it for digestion. So I recommend doing the Heartburn TX, or if you're having also intestinal problems like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, dysbiosis, then I'm going to say you should use the GI repair powder instead. It's got a lot of the same things as the Heartburn TX, but that has the added benefits of restoring the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth and the bacterial or the intestinal lining is what I'm trying to say. So both of those powders work really well for stomach indigestion. I prefer the Heartburn TX for people that are actually suffering from reflux and heartburn, and then the GI Repair for people that are more suffering from bloating, gas, indigestion hours after a meal or 30 minutes after a meal. And so those are some things that you can use to boost the mucus lining of the stomach. After you've repaired the stomach lining and the digestive process, then if you're still having issues, we need to talk further on down the gut. But as you make these changes, the rest of the bowel should be able to balance themselves as long as you have a gallbladder and functioning enzymes and functional intestinal layer. And so this video is mainly focused on just restoring the stomach lining, and so some of the future videos we'll discuss further on. So now we've discussed lack of stomach acid in the stomach, and now we've discussed how to restore the mucus lining. Both of those processes should be basically your way to cure yourself away from gastritis and reflux and heartburn and all those nasty things. If you've ever had an endoscopy where they went down your throat, an EGD, and looked at your stomach, and anyone ever diagnosed you with eosinophilic esophagitis or gastritis, any of those signs or symptoms, then you have this low stomach acid. You have poor mucus lining. Because if you have gastritis, that basically just means that you don't have enough mucus lining to protect your stomach from the acid. And so the acid is touching the stomach lining, it's burning it, and the stomach is reacting to it. And the way it reacts is it just brings the immune system, because anytime our body's damaged, the immune system shows up and tries to fix it. But there's no bacteria there, there's nothing to kill, and so the immune system shows up and starts damaging stuff, but it's not fixing anything. The way to fix it is you restore the mucus lining. That keeps the acid away from the tissue itself, from actually touching the cells, and then the immune system realizes, hey, there's nothing here to attack, we'll just go away, and then your symptoms start to get better. Many of our symptoms are not based on what's actually going on, it's based on what our body is doing to combat what's going on. I'm going to get a little off topic and say the symptoms of a urinary tract infection only occur when your immune system shows up to attack that bacteria. You can have bacteria growing all the way up into your bladder, but if you don't have an immune system to attack that and cause symptoms of burning, then you're not going to have any symptoms. So it's important to remember that by the time you've developed gastritis, you've not had stomach mucus lining, and you've not had enough acid for quite a while. You've been down this road for quite a while. And so the immune system has already showed up and attacking stuff, and now it's going to start reacting to food, and now we're getting into our risk for autoimmunity. So I could talk for hours about this, but I'll leave it there. Plenty more questions can come. Please feel free to leave a comment, share this if it helps, and I appreciate everything. I'll leave some instructions on the supplements that I like to use, and you're welcome to try them if you want. Good luck.